Hello, good afternoon. This is the home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Welcome to Joy Newsroom with me, Pious Kojo Backah. In our headlines, police arrest 3 Chinese nationals for allegedly killing a man at a mining site at Bonsa in the Western region. Details as family members of a 22-year-old woman shot dead at Gumbinihini in the Northern region appeal to the Inspector General of Police to help find her killers. Take urgent action to douse the anger and frustration of Ghanaians. Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference tells government, as it says, the economic hardship is becoming unbearable, more as it also calling for the prosecution of the owners of Akunta Mining Limited for engaging in illegal mining. Uncertainties about who will present 2023 budget to Parliament, with a vote of censure hanging around Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta's neck and pressure from within his own party for another person to present the statement. We are live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 144. Stay for details. Grateful you could stay on. The details now. The Ghana Police Service has arrested 3 Chinese nationals for allegedly killing a man at a mining site at Bonsa in the Western region. Police says it has retrieved the weapon used for the act. My colleague Samuel Mbura joins me via Zoom with details of the statement released by the police. Samuel, grateful you could join us. Give us the details of what is entailed in that report. Samuel, if you can unmute. All right.
Yeah, I can hear you now. The statement was issued on the 11th of November 2022, and according to the statement, the 3 suspects allegedly shot and killed the victim at a mining site on the 11th of November 2022. The body of the deceased has since been deposited at the Takwa Municipal Hospital for preservation and autopsy. In line with our standard operating procedure and respect for Ghanaian tradition, the name of the deceased victim has been withheld until his family is duly informed of his demise. According to the statement, a search conducted at the residence of the suspect led to the retrieval of the murder weapon. According to the police, investigations continue and the suspects will be arraigned before court to face justice. And this is signed by Superintendent of Police Kweku Ayepa, for the head of public affairs unit in the Western region.
All right, grateful, Samuel Mbura, for that update there. Now, let's move on to some other stories and take urgent action to douse the anger and frustration of Ghanaians. These are the words of the Catholic Bishops' Conference to government. As it says, the economic hardship is becoming unbearable for the populace. In a communique released at the end of its annual plenary assembly held at Donkokrom in the Eastern region, it said the anger of Ghanaians is growing and it is evident through the booing of government officials, demonstrations and open insults. Last week, you recall Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was booed at the Hogbachocho Festival during a speech in which he touted the achievements of the government. My colleague Richard Kojo Backah joins me via Zoom with details of the communique. Richard, grateful you could join us now. Our colleague Erastus Asaridonko documentary Destruction for Gold revealed how Akunta Mining Company entered the Tano Nimiri Forest Reserve of the Ashanti region to mine when it had no lease to do so. Now, the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference is calling for the prosecution of owners of the company and all persons engaged in illegal mining. Tell us more. Kindly unmute.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, so they started with a concern that one critical concern that has come to the attention is illegal mining activities and their devastating effect on the environment and our water bodies. And so the forest reserves and the quality of life of our people are also affected. So the experts have also said that the widespread destruction of Ghana's forest cover does not only lead to emissions of greenhouse gases, but also reduces the forest's ability to remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, hence contributing to climate change. And it is common knowledge that the main financiers, kingpins of this galamsey or illegal activities include chiefs, politicians, regional ministers, metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives, security personnel, among others. And this is the main reason why Ghana is unable to approve the minutes of Galamsey, and they have difficulty in prosecuting those arrested for their involvement in illegal mining. And then they went on to say that they want government to go after the owners of the Akunta mining, and their head is the regional chairman of the Ashanti region for the MPP, Nchibu Esiako, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi.
Now, Richard, on corruption, the group wants the president to show real commitment.
Yes, they indicated that their previous calls on this issue seemed to yield no positive results, and they reiterated that corruption in every facet of Ghanaian life is not only perceived but very rife. And this, they say, is unacceptable and must be dealt with at all times and at all levels of human endeavor. Since corruption is cancerous to the life and vitality of the nation, they call on every Ghanaian, religious leaders, individuals, government agencies, service providers, public and civil servants to stand up and to defend the cause of justice, probity, and accountability. But they go on to say that Ghana must lead and live the crusade against corruption, and they want Ghanaians to eschew all attitudes, behaviors, and actions that support, encourage, and condone bribery and corruption. They further call on the Catholics, especially those in politics and public service, to lead this crusade against corruption, and they are asking the president to show real commitment in fighting corruption by making use of all the security and intelligence community to investigate allegations of corruption and prosecute them as well, and recover all stolen funds as well.
I do know that the committee or the Catholic Bishops' Conference have been making some recommendations for government. Now, is this urging the country's leadership to show commitment to burden sharing by reducing the size of the presidential and ministerial convoys? What about that as well?
Well, so let me run you by a few of them. And they said that government should set the example in the burden sharing by really cutting down on economic costs. They say the size of government and leadership in state-owned enterprises should be significantly reduced. And one strong signal that will indicate leadership is committed to burden sharing is by reducing the size of presidential and ministerial convoys. They also further say that there should be an aggressive approach to acting on the recommendations of the Auditor General's report, which are replete with cases of misappropriation, mismanagement, and actual thievery. As part of the effort to stabilize the cedi, there should be a stiffer crackdown on the black market and money laundering. So these are excerpts of the statement or the communique released by the Catholic Bishops' Conference.
Grateful, Richard Kojo Backah, for that comprehensive update on the Catholic Bishops' Conference statement. A while longer on crime-related story, and family members of a 22-year-old woman, Abubakar Mansoura, who was shot dead by unknown gunmen at Gambinihini in the Tamale metropolis of the Northern region, are appealing to the police to help find the killers. Abubakar Mansoura was shot dead on Friday during a visit to a friend. Martina Bugri has more.
The Gumbini community is one of the suburbs in the Tamale metropolis. Quiet as the community seems, there have been incidents of shooting in this community. This is not the first time somebody has been killed in Gumbini. Speaking to Joy News, brother of the deceased said the situation is getting murkier each day with insecurity in the city. He said it was worrying that the police is yet to invite the landlord or occupants of the house for questioning.
In fact, our family is saddened. We are saddened because on the 10th of November 2022, around 2 a.m., there were a number of gunshots we heard around town. Little did we know these gunshots has done the kind of harm that has done to us. In fact, the harm is our little sister, a very young, vibrant young lady, was shot by gunmen in town that we had no business with. The third day, in the morning, we woke up to the news that a gunshot had hit our sister, a young lady, as I have said. So, the whole of yesterday, the family has been bereaved. The said young lady is still in the morgue. The rumors that we heard associated to this death is that the gunmen attacked a certain house. Why they attacked their house, we don't know. Our sister happened to be sleeping in that house, got shot by the gunmen.
He appealed to the Inspector General of Police to intervene before the case is thrown into the waste bin.
We have not received any information as to whether a suspect or the criminal who killed our sister has been picked. But all that we ask for as we stand here is justice for our young sister. Justice for our young sister. It may be us today. We don't know who the next gunshot will be tomorrow. So all that we plead from the IGP, the Ghana Police Service, is to take up this matter seriously. Look for the perpetrators and make sure they are brought to book.
Some other residents shared their thoughts on the insecurity situation in the Tamale metropolis and called on the police to beef up their game.
We lost our sister due to this rampant wielding of guns by young men in the metropolis. But we do not have guns, so we are calling on our traditional authorities to fight for us. This is not the first time this is happening. The overlord recently lamented over this issue of guns in the hands of wrong people. Today, we are victims of that crime. We are calling on the overlord, Ndanyana, to act.
We have heard of insecurity in Tamale, but today we have experienced it ourselves. Our children cannot go out to play without you being worried. They can't go to school. So government should do something about the security situation in the area.
This is not the first time we are hearing this. It's about time our traditional authorities come to our aid. They should come out and fight for the people of Tamale and get the culprits punished. If not, the situation will worsen.
Martina Bugiri with that report. Now, away from that, as the Food and Agriculture Ministry's March anticipated food market opens in Accra, some plantain traders at the Malamata market say they will be able to price their produce lower if the ministry foots their transport from the farm gates as well. We'll hear from the traders shortly, but first, there were mixed reactions as patrons of the Plantain for Food and Jobs market were divided on the pricing of a bunch of plantains. The initiative, according to the Agric Ministry, is aimed at cushioning Ghanaians, mitigating the impact of rising food prices. The pilot phase on Friday was opened only to civil servants.
I have some that are going for 10 Ghana cedis, and let me count the number of fingers of plantain we have in this bunch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And this one is going for 10 cedis. Let me also show you the ones that are also going for 20 cedis. And these are the plantain that are going for 20 cedis. 15 cedis. This is 15 cedis. And then the fingers I see here will be more than 15. So you could practically say that a finger is like 1 cedi in this. Let me show you the ones that are going for 20 cedis, and these ones 25 cedis. And so let's count the fingers: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and they are big enough.
To me, it's a good initiative, although, yeah, but since I heard that it's a pilot, we're expecting that in the next bunch that will come, the price will really go down a bit.
Oh, but you are getting a bunch for 10 cedis, 15 cedis, 20 cedis, 25 cedis. When you get to the market, how much do you buy them?
Okay, I can say that last week, for instance, I bought one for 15 cedis in the market, and then it was reasonable about the size. So I can't see any big difference from what is in the market and then what is here. That's my view.
What's your name?
Margaret.
What have you bought today?
Oh, nothing actually. I wanted some perishable goods, but unfortunately, they are saying they are not going to bring anything of that sort here. So people really like some perishable goods. So I was thinking I'll get some here, but I didn't get some. So I'm expecting some. Actually, if they can bring some to us here.
What is your reaction to this exercise?
Oh, in fact, it's very good. But I must say the plantain I saw, I was expecting the prices to be down a bit, but I was doing some comparison, and I saw that the price here is a bit high. So if they can bring it down for us, we'll be happy.
So it's not comparing it to the market where we buy our usual stuff. This one is relatively high.
I think so personally.
Oh, I think we were late, so I got one, and then my colleagues got two, and then one.
How much did you buy it for?
When we came, they said it was 20 cedis, and then the price changed to 15 cedis, which is good for us. Today is just plantain. We wish to have other products as well. Rice, the local rice to be precise, yam, cocoa yam, cassava, and then the palm oil, the oil that is now very expensive, if they can do those things for us to help the civil servants, because some of us, our salaries are not so much to cater for these things. So this, if they happen to work for us, we'll be happy.
Okay, so when we got here, we got it at a different price. Yes, so even before then, I was telling my colleagues that the bunch of plantain that we saw for 20 cedis compared to the market is cheaper. Yes, I was telling them. So I think it's okay. It's okay if more produce could come by for us to buy.
Well, we checked the price of plantain at the Malamata market to help settle the pricing debate. Lois Tay has been interacting with the traders.
So Sister Ajwa is a seller in the Malata market, and she sells plantain as well as other foodstuffs. And according to her, she would sell this bunch of plantain for about 20 cedis. And on this bunch, we have, I'm going to count it now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So there are 22 pieces of plantain on this bunch, and she is going to sell it at 20 cedis. She's going to sell this too at 15 cedis, considering the size. So this is going to sell at 15 cedis, and this is also going to sell at 10 cedis. And I think this is quite affordable.
Omo ba body no omo ase ebi wakurase pa na nso lole fe no to omo bedu no na lole fe na ma body no sabre na wose body ebu afi bia busumi wem ene next month ena wose body ebu enso na am lole fe ni to omo bedu no omo se lole fe no.
The suppliers transport the plantain from the farming areas and bring them here for us to buy from them. They tell us that plantain is in abundance in the villages, but the high transportation fares cause them to increase the prices of the plantain, although this time of the year is when plantain is in abundance. The big fingers of plantain are sold at 10 cedis for 5. But the smaller ones are sold at 5 cedis for 4 fingers. We buy an entire bunch at 20 cedis, 30 cedis, or 40 cedis, depending on the size. Because of how expensive it is, it also affects the customers who buy from us. I heard that the government said it will supply us with plantain at reduced prices. If that happens, we will be able to sell the plantain at affordable prices. But what we really want is for fuel prices to be reduced so that our suppliers from the villages can provide us with affordable plantain. This is what will make things better.
So we're no longer on this subject, and some players in the agriculture sector are casting doubts on the sustainability of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture's initiative to cut food from the farm gates to sell here in Accra at a reduced cost. The initiative, according to the ministry, is aimed at cushioning Ghanaians and mitigating the impact of rising food prices. Now, the pilot phase on Friday was open to only civil servants, but chairman of the Ghana chapter of the Competitive African Rice Platform, Yao Edupoku, says it cannot be sustained. He spoke on Newsfile.
I see this operation as a surgical operation. And the key word here is pilot. So to me, it is a pilot program. I don't see a sustainability in the long run. The reason is that we are a one season farming. And so you cannot take the harvest that comes in October, November, and sell it in June, July. It's not possible because it all gets spoiled. And so we should be looking at the situation where we can preserve what we have harvested and bring it out as the months go by. This is the harvesting season, so you see a lot of food in the market. Within 6 weeks, maximum 2 months, it's all gone, totally gone, and they're back to square one. This is the problem we have been facing perennially. And so this, to me, is a surgical operation, and it's marks of desperation a little. The minister wants us to know that this problem is created by the middle link. But I might tell you, something since I have the platform, that just 3 months ago, I was bringing in 50 tons of rice by articulator load at 14,000 cedis, Tamale to Tema. Today, I'm paying 60,000 cedis. So you see, it has quadrupled. And this adds to the cost of the food product for the consumer. And so if we make it seem as if it's the aggregators and the middlemen who are doing this and the market women, then we are not being truthful.
Agribusiness expert Gideon Abuaje says there is more to the price hikes of food, hence the initiative is not sustainable.
It's a laudable idea. Unfortunately, is it something that is going to be sustained by the ministry?
Why not?
And it's a bit difficult, I should say, because it doesn't look like something that is sustainable. You know, when we have good rains, you have excess production in terms of crops that really don't use fertilizers. So you have a situation where you have a lot of plantain, you have a lot of cassava, you have a lot of yam. So you ask yourself, in years that the rains are really not good, what happens? I think we should have a broader discussion on this matter.
Political risk analyst and economist Dr. Theo Champon says a permanent solution to the problem includes changing how we practice agriculture in Ghana.
The point is that if the government is bringing in, say, plantain, right, and selling it to Accra relatively cheaper than what the market women are, the government cannot subsume all of that responsibility. So necessarily, you need some sort of market coordination mechanism in there. What is driving the cost of the product or the food is not necessarily about the thing itself, but you have to look at the inputs that's going into it. Fertilizer, and when they harvest the food and you're transporting it, the cost of fuel, right, as well. The man just talked about spending 14,000, now he's spending 60,000 to bring the same quantity of rice from somewhere in the north to Accra. And people generally are rational, so they will price in these things in there. So the attempt to solve it from a sort of demand point of view, yes, commendable, but the structural issues must still be addressed, which is that fundamentally you have to change the way we practice even agriculture in this country. And if we don't take an advantage of this crisis and this opportunity, then our worry or my concern always is that we'll always be diagnosing problems and not providing solutions. But the process of providing the solution is equally as important as the solution itself.
Away from agric-related stories to one of our headline stories, and there is uncertainty regarding who will represent the 2023 budget to Parliament, despite the House firming up a date. The House has been informed that the budget is scheduled to be presented on the 24th of November, but no one is sure if this presentation will be made by the embattled Ken Ofori-Atta. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Pious Kojo reports.
After days of not being certain about the dates for the presentation of the 2023 budget, government has now announced 24th November as the date. That is according to Deputy Majority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin, who presented to Parliament the business statement for next week.
Barring any unforeseen development, the Minister responsible for Finance, on the authority of the President of the Republic, is scheduled to present the budget statement for the year ending 31st December 2023, in accordance with Article 179 of the 1992 Constitution, on Thursday, the 24th of November.
But some MPs want the Majority Leader and Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, Osei Chairman Sabonso, to tell the House exactly which person will be presenting the statement.
The statement stated that the Minister responsible for Finance will be here on the 23rd to read the budget. And I wanted to be sure that we are talking about the same Minister of Finance who has just been referred to the committee who is under scrutiny.
At least it is appropriate the presentation would have been the Minister for Finance. But that question is so important because we have heard some of our colleagues from your side who have publicly threatened that they will boycott Parliament if the Minister for Finance appears to present the budget.
These uncertainties stem from an announcement yesterday by rebel NPP MPs that Finance Minister has lost their trust and cannot be made to do the presentation.
The Minister of Finance will not be the one who must read the budget and must not be the one who will do the appropriation. And we are going to be positively defiant on that posture until that action is taken.
Well, Majority Leader and Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, Osei Chairman Sabonso, says that decision lies with the President, Akufo-Addo, who can appoint any of his ministers to do the presentation on his own behalf.
That we could even have the Minister responsible for communication or the Minister responsible for roads and highways who will be here. We could also have the Minister responsible for Finance who will be here to do that. The answer, as I've told you, lies in Article 179. So I cannot pretend to know who the President is going to nominate to do the presentation of the budget.
Remember, the jury is still out there. Whether or not Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta gets to present the 2023 budget, that decision now rests with the President. Mind you, the New Patriotic Party MPs are giving the President an ultimatum. They're not giving him any breathing space. They say if Ken Ofori-Atta presents that budget, they will not cooperate. The NDC MPs have the Assenger motion, which is still around the neck of the Finance Minister. Very interesting days ahead, but the jury is still out there. For Joy News, Kweku Asante, Parliament House, Accra.
A while longer in Parliament, an embattled Dom Kwabenya MP Sarah Dwasafo says she is aware of efforts by her own colleagues to have her seat declared vacant and the matters will be dealt with. While shying away from the key issues, the MP says she is grateful for the support her constituents have shown her in these trying times. She spoke exclusively to Joy News on her return to Parliament after more than a year absence.
What do you say to your constituents?
I say hello to my constituents and I thank them for being there to support and praying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honorable, if you can just give me a word on these issues about getting your seat declared vacant. What do you say about that now that you are back?
I just came in and the reception has been good, so we take it up from there.
Now, NPP MP for Adansi Asokwa, Katie Hammond, says the status of Adwoa Safo as an MP is still not clear and must be decided. He insists that despite her return, a decision on her seat must still be taken.
Granted us by the Constitution as to how long you can stay away, whatever, permission or no permission, stay away. The Speaker is, Parliament now seized with the matter. Speaker made a ruling which was contested by the majority leader. It is now being contested in the Supreme Court. We're in a limbo. Nobody really understands her status now. It's not that we don't understand. One way or the other, there should be an outcome. The argument was that she was automatically disqualified because of how long she stayed away. The Speaker said, no, that doesn't seem to be the case. It should be debated and then voted on. So we are here to debate and vote whether she is in or she is out. Now, coupled with that, there's also this matter pending in the Supreme Court. So it's nebulous. It's not straight. We don't know anything. We pretend that we don't know anything. So she's a sitting member of Parliament. If that suits you, then well, that's fine. Because in that case, we don't know what will happen eventually in Parliament. We don't know what will happen in the Supreme Court. So if we don't know, then of course status quo ante stays. If that's what you want to know. But my point is that it's difficult. We don't know. I mean, if the Speaker, Parliament decides subsequently after the debate that she is disqualified, then her sitting today, from today onwards and whatever, do not serve, sittings don't serve any purpose. But if it is ruled in her favor, then retroactively, well, she's always been a qualified member of Parliament. It's not straightforward.
You're still watching Joy Newsroom with me, Pious Kojo Backah. We are pausing for some break. When we return, we've got more for you. Please stay. Welcome back. This is still Joy Newsroom with me, Pious Kojo Backah. Let's continue with the rest of our stories. And the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, has called off its industrial action after 5 days. This comes after the NLC secured a court order restraining NAGRAT, NAT, and CCT from continuing their strike. The three teacher unions announced a withdrawal of their services on Friday, November 4, in protest of the appointment of the new Director General of the Ghana Education Service and the extension of the mandate of the Deputy Director. The strike was also to get government to renew their conditions of service that will expire in December. According to the president of NAGRAT, Angel Kabonu, teachers are expected to return to post Monday, November 14.
We have had information that the Labour Commission is sought an ex parte ruling against the three teacher unions, and that the court has ordered the three teacher unions to immediately call off the strike and return to the classroom. Unfortunately, the assumption that the three teacher unions were defying the orders of the Labour Commission is not true. We were not defying the orders of the Labour Commission. We were trying to touch base with our downlines to ensure the right thing is done. We are law-abiding citizens. We have decided to obey the orders of the court, and I've asked our members to call off the strike and to go back to the classroom, and also ensure that the directive that the Labour Commission is given, that we will engage the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations and report to the Labour Commission on the 16th, that is next Wednesday, on the issues that led to the strike in the first place. And we are determined to do that in our engagement with the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations and the Ministry of Education. Thank you very much.
So you have called off the strike?
Yes, we have.
You have. Now, when you read the court order, it says for within a period of 10 days, it means they are not satisfied those requirements.
Well, that is, they've asked the Labour Commission that this injunction has a lifespan of 10 days. Yes. And after 10 days, they can only come on notice. That is, they have to serve the 3 teacher unions. That is what I understand by the ruling of the court.
But Mr. Kojo, you don't look so cheerful.
Well, I don't have to be cheerful because the objective for which I went on strike is not been completely achieved. And that is not making me happy because we need to fight as public servants to ensure that the public service remains the public service without the undue and unbridled interference by the politicians. We are very glad that our brothers and sisters in the other unions in the public service are all beginning to jump onto the fray. And you'll be surprised that the next time we will come as a whole public sector workers unions, where we will come and ensure that at the end of the day, the public service remains the public service without undue interference by the politician. Solidarity operates in various ways. CLOSAC and NAGRAT are all part of the forum. The forum is a combination of all public sector unions. So the struggle is going to move into a different pedestal from there. CLOSAC is suffering the same thing that we are suffering. So we will have to build a united front of all public sector workers to ensure that the politicians stay off the public service.
Moving on, Chief Justice Kwesi Backah has admonished the country's new lawyers not to see the profession as a gold mine, but rather utilize their skills and knowledge to help humanity. He said this at the 59th graduation ceremony of the Ghana School of Law in Accra on Friday, where 846 students were called to the bar. Hanodami and Tracy Amsamwa were there for Joy News.
For some, it's taken 2 years. For others, it's been 3. And for more, it's been 4 or 5 years. But today, the hard work, sleepless nights, and even the cancellation of some of their exam papers have all come to an end as they receive their certificates to begin practice. This year's graduation saw more females than males, with a percentage of 51.9% being females and 48.1% being males. Out of the 12 special awards that were presented, 8 went to females. And this mother, Gladys Kumsin, is overjoyed by the achievements of the females.
One thing I want to tell every parent, what I've seen today, baba menjeje animu na nhwe mema to said they are meant to me nyahwe aha me ba nei a man na eji awards akese. Just say I am too happy for the girls today.
Her daughter, Jacqueline Bempa, says she aspires to be a judge and so will continue to burn the midnight oil.
Next step is to do a pupillage now. I'm hoping to get myself into a good firm that I can learn a lot of things and build up my career.
For the best student in civil procedure, Efia Apia Kubi, it's taking a lot of hard work, which she believes was worth it.
They say what a man can do, a woman can do better. And I believe that you should have, you should believe in yourself. You should be bold and don't be timid. You can do anything. The sky is your limit.
Addressing the students, Chief Justice Kwesi Backah asked the lawyers to abhor acts that will cause them to be unethical.
Law as a distinguished profession is demanding. It requires a firm commitment to scholarship, a zeal for integrity, hard work, and professional excellence. It will therefore be detrimental to perceive the profession as a gold mine, with an ultimate aim of making money at all costs. I would urge you to hasten slowly and avoid greed. You cannot measure professional success in monetary and material terms only and allow the desire for wealth and power, position and fame to blind you into throwing overboard the core values and skills that endanger true professionalism.
Perhaps the most touching moment was when the CJ walked down the podium to hand over the certificate of visually impaired Karuthas Tete to him.
I'm very, very excited, at least to shake the hand of the Chief Justice, the highest, one of the highest men on the land, and I'm so grateful to God. And I take this as an opportunity for me to work harder. It comes to me as a challenge for me to work harder, to receive higher appreciations from the hard work that I render.
As family and friends cheer on the 846 new lawyers, they are also lacing their shoes to begin a journey where integrity counts as an achievement. For Joy News, I am Hannah Odami.
Part of efforts to promote quality healthcare delivery, the Safe Care program, a globally acclaimed assessment scheme, has been probing some health facilities to ascertain their conformity with internationally acceptable standards. The latest facility to be recommended by the scheme is the Rabito Clinic in Accra. After over 4 decades of its operations, 2 of its branches have been ranked on level 4 of the Safe Care assessment policy out of its 5 grading levels. Joy News' Park with Sishandov paid a visit to the facility and has filed this report.
The Rabito Clinic was established in 1974 with a focus on treating skin diseases and general healthcare services. After close to 46 years of its existence, 2 of its branches have been ranked on level 4 of the Safe Care Quality Standards Assessment. Reacting to this development, the Chief Executive Officer of the facility, Karen Hendrickson, expressed delight about the latest ranking and thanked her team members for the feat.
It is a empowering and energizing and extremely exciting achievement. They have worked tirelessly. We all started from, let's say, 0, and now for them to have reached to 4 is a testament to the commitment of the administrator in the branches, in addition, the clinical staff, as well as the general operational staff. And I'm very, very proud of that.
Madam Karen Hendrickson also stressed on the need for all stakeholders to contribute to the quality of healthcare delivery across the country. Touching on plans by her outfits to render quality services to the public, she revealed that the Rabito Clinic is focused on ascending to stage 5 of the Safe Care assessment, with plans to extend its services to rural and deprived communities in the country.
Rabito recognizes this gap in healthcare delivery across the country. So what we as a brand is working at is putting Rabito branches in areas where we can provide positive impact and provide a quality level of care to those in the community. So at this point in time, we have 24 Rabito clinics spread across the country. We're in 10 regions.
With about 24 branches littered across the country, some workers at the hospital intimated that the hospital's focus on professionalism and dedication have contributed to the recognition from Safe Care. Concerning the work culture of the facility, Dr. Frank Apieje had this to say.
In terms of guidelines, there are protocols where we have to follow. It helps us organize, you to be organized in terms of the way and manner you go about things, because without that, it was going to be chaos. But once there's the protocol, you know what to do at what time and when to do it as well.
Adelaide Duako Ejapon is an administrator at the La Paz branch of the Rabito Clinic. On her part, she expressed happiness about how the hospital has fared so far and shared her optimism about Rabito's prospects for the future.
Collectively, we've put in so much, but it shouldn't be just an idea wonder. We've put in systems, practices, processes, and protocols, and we prepared towards them. So we should put them in practice, so that the quality health care that we aspire to give our customers, our clients, will be achieved.
A tour of the hospital's headquarters at Osu also revealed some remarkable improvements in its laboratory and screening equipment. This, according to the management of the hospital, forms part of efforts to strengthen the logistical framework of the hospital. The improvement, according to the hospital, is also aimed at enhancing quality healthcare delivery to the hundreds of patients who throng the premises on a daily basis. For Joy News, Pakwesi Shandovs reports.
More on health, UNICEF is urging the media to continue to support the hand hygiene campaign, even though the COVID-19 pandemic infections have declined. According to UNICEF, encouraging hand hygiene practices will help reduce communicable diseases in the country. There was a decline in communicable diseases when hand-washing initiatives were introduced to reduce the spread of the disease. Speaking at a workshop organized by UNICEF, WASH Program Officer of the Ministry of Sanitation, Susie Abedu, emphasized the need for the media to keep the hand-washing advocacy going. There's more in this report.
For the first time, UNICEF, in partnership with the Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation, organized a workshop to educate the media as part of the Hand Hygiene for All initiative established in 2020. According to the executives, the initiative was created as a result of the rise in the COVID-19 outbreak. It was an interactive session where the media personnel was allowed to share their views about how best they can contribute to the initiative. Susie Abedu, a WASH program officer at the Ministry of Sanitation, encourages the media to also join the call to spread the news of hand hygiene.
The point was that if this is one most important action we can take to stop the spread, then let's launch an initiative like this and encourage people to really wash their hands. Encourage everyone, everywhere. And that is why it is hand hygiene for all. And it means hand hygiene for all, for everyone, everywhere. You can't get only government to push this agenda when you are talking about all. We need all stakeholders to join hands to push this agenda to ensure that this happens in Ghana. And that is where you come in. The critical role that the media has to play, so that the information that you put out there is the same information we all...
The National Consultant for Hand Hygiene for All, UNICEF, Charles Nashidamp, says the interest of the media in this initiative is crucial.
One sector you would help us put out is the media. How do we integrate hand hygiene into media work that we do? Media interest, first of all, your interest in the subject, and then your support for hand hygiene. In short, I'm simply saying that media practitioners, we need you to push the agenda. Dissemination and advocacy. Dissemination and advocacy. We can't emphasize that enough.
A public health practitioner and consultant, Dr. Stephen Toh, also added that this Hand Hygiene for All initiative will help keep the public from several communicable and contagious diseases.
Hand hygiene is an initiative by global partners, supported by local partners in Ghana, and I think it's an initiative that will bring down several preventable illnesses, including COVID. Diarrhea diseases are a lot of this, and we hope that with our support as media practitioners, we will be able to get hand hygiene as a culture in Ghana.
Governor also reports for Joy News.
To some other stories, the ambassador of Angola to Ghana, João Baptista Domingos Cueja, says his country will support Ghana to succeed as it assumes the rotating monthly presidency of the United Nations. Amongst others, Ghana will preside over the meetings of the Council. Speaking at the 47th Independence Anniversary celebration of Angola at the Labadi Beach Hotel here in Accra, the ambassador revealed Angolan Airlines will start operating in Ghana this month.
As a result of these efforts aimed at contributing to stabilize peace in Africa, President Lorenzo was distinguished with the title of Champion for Peace and Reconciliation in Africa by the African Union. On this occasion, Excellencies, allow me to express Angola's satisfaction in seeing Ghana preside over the United Nations Security Council during this month of November 2022, and at a time when the world and the African continent continues to face challenging situations such as terrorism in the Sahel region and armed conflicts in other regions of the globe. We want to assure Ghana of our total support during its presidency at this important organ of the United Nations. Although commercial exchanges are not yet at the desired volume, we remain committed to the search for more areas of interest that can strengthen the state of our cooperation. We have made efforts to start flights by the Angolan airline TAG to Ghana, and we hope that would happen this month of November. We have successfully taken cocoa farmers from Ghana to assist Angolan farmers in the production of cocoa, but we're not going to be competitive with Ghana, we know for sure. As well as an exchange program in education, which we are currently negotiating. Also, we would like to see in the areas of cooperations in the area of mineral and petroleum resources, transportation, agriculture, and the training of foreign languages. And that is why we must continue to make efforts to reach agreements and partnerships, both in the private and public sectors.
You're still watching Joy Newsroom with me, Pious Kojo Backah, and the ambassador of Angola to Ghana, João Baptista Domingos Queiza, speaking at the event. Deputy Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture, Mark Okreku-Manti, said, reaffirmed Ghana's commitment to closely work with Angola both at the bilateral and multilateral levels.
The milestone achievement of the continent's credits is the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, envisaged decades ago. The AFTA has now become Africa's biggest project, targeted at exploring and adding value to our resources to further expand trading activities among African countries, to boost our intra-Africa trade with the sole aim of creating wealth and the necessary job opportunities for our populations, particularly the teeming youth. Your Excellencies, against this backdrop, it is refreshing to note that Ghana, together with 6 other African state parties to the AFTA, have already commenced trading under AFTA arrangements, and it is our desire that Angola will join. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Ghana and Angola will prioritize inter-regional projects that can facilitate the free movement of persons, goods, and services for the mutual benefit of its people. In spite of the challenges posed by COVID-19 pandemic and the pressures exacerbated by the Russia-Ukraine war on our economies, African countries have been presented with the opportunities to collectively work for the development of our economies to liberate the continent of poverty. In conclusion, I wish to reaffirm Ghana's commitment to closely work with Angola to further strengthen our cooperation in all fields of endeavor, both at the bilateral and multilateral levels, with the view to promote economic and social cohesion, which are anchored on mutual respect for the rule of law and human rights, and the maintenance of peace and stability.
And that's all in this package by way of Joy Newsroom with me, Pious Kojo Backah. Grateful serving you. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. Do enjoy the rest of our programs. Good afternoon.